As India leaps forward in the new millennium with its predominant role in information technology, a consumer power of a 300 million strong middle class, and an equally large aspirational class, further increasing its buying power, raising its standard of living, piercing ahead in the education sector, and improved healthcare. Its industrialization, liberalization policies, and self-sufficiency in food. Our foundation of economic and commercial relations with traditional friends and neighbours is strengthening. On the other side, the Arab nations are blessed with abundant oil wealth and have proved to the world their management capabilities in building their countries on a modern pattern, enabling them to sustain their oil economies, making the lives of their people comfortable while still holding on to their social traditions. The people of India and Arab countries have known each other long before European navigators set sight on each other's shores, and have shared an active engagement in trade and commerce over the centuries. Parallel with the economic transformation in this region is the political consolidation in form of the Gulf Cooperation Council. This has given a collective framework to India for a joint initiative with the Gulf as a whole.
Our relations with India goes back to old history. We knew the Indians, and the Indians knew us well before oil, when they used to come to our country to give us many of their products, to sell their products before there was oil in this country. This means that relations between India and the United Arab Emirates and the Gulf countries in general is more of economic relations and historic relations that are not necessarily tied up with oil. Of course, after the oil boom, more Indians are in the Gulf countries. In the UAE, we have a very large Indian community that are working in different fields.
The contribution of Indian manpower in their nation building is well recognized by the Arab countries in various fields, from construction of buildings, roads, bridges, ports and airports, to religious places, and the demand for Indian workforce is still increasing.
Indian companies themselves have not participated in this region's petroleum-related projects, while Indians have been working in these projects on behalf of certain other companies. The reason is that our companies were not seen as experienced enough to take up these multi-billion-dollar projects. The situation is now changing, and there are reports that our public and private sector companies will be able to enter into the downstream sector and the petrochemical sector.
Reliance Industries had also been shortlisted to invest in a refinery and petrochemical project in Saudi Arabia. Recently, Reliance Industries was awarded the first ever offshore rights to explore oil and gas by the Oman government. India imports 70% of its crude oil, the majority coming from Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, and United Arab Emirates. India offers a stable and dependable market. India's energy needs and the Gulf's abundant oil reserves and surplus capital have created strong complementarities. Thus, we have a stake in each other's economies. It is this new equation which is helping in opening new vistas and trade opportunities, providing a basis for joint endeavours. A bonding which has grown beyond oil and has now extended to LNG. Petronet LNG Limited, a joint venture promoted by the Government of India, has contracted imports and regasifying liquefied natural gas from RAS Gas Company of Qatar to supply 7.5 million tonnes per annum of LNG terminal for Dahej port in Gujarat and Kochi in Kerala.
It was the first contract that we entered into for LNG over the long term. It is also a very high value contract. Partly because of the initiative that we showed, various other countries have now entered the business. For example, Qatar is now under pressure to set up new trains.
This supply alliance provides numerous advantages in terms of early delivery due to the proximity, cost effectiveness and access to Qatar's vast gas capabilities to meet India's growing energy needs.
In that sense, the security of South Asia and of India in particular, and the security of this region are interlinked. So that makes us very natural strategic partners.
The investment sector too has made rapid strides. India's largest joint venture, a $968 million project, Indo-Oman Ammonia Urea Complex near Sur in Oman, has come up as a model of cooperation between India and the Gulf. India was able to set up a viable project 50% owned by India and 50% by Oman, utilizing the abundant reserves of natural gas in Oman to meet a part of India's urea requirement. Under the urea offtake agreement, the government of India will purchase the entire urea production, and the surplus ammonia will be purchased by IFCO under a 15-year agreement. This investment will benefit Oman by creating infrastructure for its gas resources, an assured market as well as value addition, whereas India benefits by availability of cost-effective urea produced from a plant India itself owns.
We are very happy to get this huge project in Oman, both with cooperate with the India government. We have much opportunity to recruit Omanis into this project, and we are very happy to work with our colleague, the meaning Indians from KIPCO and IFCO, and we are happy to be together in this project in the end. And this project, it will give more benefit both countries.
The entire product is being exported through a captive jetty set up for this purpose within this complex.
Several Indian companies are also active in the 6 GCC countries, strengthening our economic relations.
Oman and Saudi Arabia have been our traditional markets, but other than that we have supplied certain equipment to Kuwait, United Arab Emirates, and by way of increased presence there, we have now an office in Dubai. BHEL has been providing some of the lowest cost power plants to this region. 75% of our total exports go to the Gulf region. There are a lot of local works which are awarded to the local companies who work in association with us to complete a project. So it helps the local industry as well. So it's a mutual partnership. Associated with each one of these projects is the software aspect which goes along with it. That is training their engineers in operation and maintenance of this equipment.
Engineers India Limited has expanded this cooperation area, and we have been providing technical assistance to their hydrocarbon industry in particular in all countries in the Gulf. We have been there since the 90s, and our technical assistance has ranged from specialist requirements in various fields, sometimes in upgradation of skills of various agencies there, and also doing contracts for them in which we provide our expertise in technology assessment, technology development, in engineering and design specially.
EIL also executed the 125-kilometre Makta Jebel Ali gas line project and the gasoline production facilities of the Octane Company, Dubai.
Working in this part of the world is very challenging. The weather conditions are very harsh, especially during summer with temperature rising to 50 degrees centigrade, sandstorms and high humidity, making outdoor works like erection of towers and stringing works of transmission lines very difficult.
One of India's largest business houses, Essar, is exporting flat steel to the Middle East region, providing transport solutions to the global energy business, transporting crude oil from the oil-producing regions across the globe. In the telecom sector, telecommunication consultant India Limited has been very actively working in this region, providing cost-effective and reliable telecommunication services, resurrections of telecom rehabilitation projects in Kuwait after the Gulf War, installation and O&M of digital microwaves, optical fiber coaxial and GSM network in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. India's ABG shipyards with state-of-the-art manufacturing facilities have executed many prestigious shipbuilding and ship repair contracts in GCC countries against stiff international competition. The most recent deliveries have been supply vessels for Halal Offshore Qatar and utility vessels for Zamil Operations and Maintenance Company. The yard is also to construct 2 ASD vessels for Lamnalco Group of United Arab Emirates. Ashok Leyland buses and Tata buses have been plying in the Gulf regions for decades. Tata's is one of India's largest and best-known Indian conglomerates. The electrical and mechanical specialist, Voltas Limited, is part of the Tata Group. Combining multiple capabilities and powerful technologies, Voltas has successfully executed a spectrum of prestigious, integrated electromechanical contracts throughout the GCC countries. Larsen & Toubro, an Indian construction giant, is also engaged in implementing several projects in this region. To explore business opportunities, Gujarati seafarers from Kutch, like Niranji Hirji, made Oman their home centuries ago. Similarly, the Kimji Ramdas Group, originally from Kutch, a prominent business house of Oman, started trading operations between India and Oman almost 150 years ago.
India's got a great demographic proximity equation with Oman, which gives it that much more advantage in investing in Oman. Companies like NTPC and Reliance have shown interest and have been shortlisted in a few cases. Telecom, we've had the Indian companies come and give various consultancy projects to the Oman Telecom, Omantel, where the Omanis will prefer to go and invest in tourism in India. The Gulfar Group, Mr. Mahmoud Ali has invested in Cochin and has been a very successful venture. Our family has invested in the Pizza Hut operations in Chennai and Pune. They've been rather successful.
India's Godrej Group of companies and Kimji Ramdas of Oman has set up an exemplary joint venture in Oman to cater to the growing demand of the Gulf market for office furniture.
Through this joint venture, we are confident that we are enhancing the employment opportunities for Omanis in this country and also developing their skills in the manufacturing sector. We also import quite a bit of raw material out of India for manufacture of our steel office furniture, as well as locks and other hardware from the parent company in India.
Shanta Biotechnics is a shining example of adventurous venture by private entrepreneurs. India's techno-entrepreneur Dr. Vara Prasad Reddy and associate own 50% equity, and the other half is owned by Yusuf bin Alawi and associate of Oman, winning awards for its successful development and commercialization of indigenous technology in the field of biopharmaceuticals, with its state-of-the-art plant and research center in Hyderabad, India.
We are one of the most cost-competitive countries when it comes to agriculture produce the world over. GCC countries certainly are a very important market segment for APIDA products. We are exporting $1 billion worth of goods to these countries. As for the major APIDA products which are being exported to the GCC countries, I must say these include basmati rice, non-basmati rice, meat and meat products, fresh vegetables and fruits, and processed fruits and vegetables as well.
Basmati rice's aromatic flavor and distinguishing qualities are related to the soil, water, climate and temperature. It is essentially the natural crop of the Indo-Gangetic plains. Modern technology, research and regular rains have helped increase its yield. This long-grain rice is the most popular and expensive rice in the world.
We send the maximum quantities of this premium variety of rice to Saudi Arabia. They are the connoisseurs of this rice.
A variety of other Indian agricultural products and eatables are in popular demand by local Arab and expatriate community, ultimately benefiting the Indian farmer. Oman National Dairy Products sources most of its raw material from India. The runaway popularity of its juice brand Zain is seeing a rapidly growing demand for Indian fruit pulp, and the export figures are likely to double by next year. Zain brand also procures milk powder from India, which is the basis of its range of yogurts, laban or lassi, and ice creams. The major part of its plants are also imported from India.
The region also provides India with a springboard for exporting their produce to other countries in the West as well as in East Africa, because Oman is on the natural trading route between India and the West. This is another reason why an ideal win-win situation between the two countries.
The selected juices of our range has been exported even into India. It's a win-win situation for both the countries, especially Oman and in India. There are Indian expertise which is used to manage the factory, and we have a lot of Indians working here. It generates around 250 employment of Omanis. Every year we try to give chance to develop, train Omanis even in the management. We export this to 42 countries to be precise. Our products are available with the Indian ingredients in all these countries. We highlight Alfonso brand, which is Indian brand in our pack, which is USP for our mango juices, which has been well accepted by the consumers throughout the world.
Designated as a thrust area in Indian trade policy and boosted by the economic liberalisation, India's gem and jewellery industry is one of the important foundations of its export-led growth. India also dominates the world diamond cutting and polishing industry and is a leading manufacturer of quality coloured gemstones. Several other products made in India are exported to the Gulf markets, boosting the Indian industry. Trade has made remarkable progress, with the GCC countries becoming the second largest trading partner of India, with the bilateral trading collectively accounting for over $17 billion in the year 2005. Saudi Basic Industry Corporation's subsidiary company, SABIC India, is another successful Indo-Saudi joint venture engaged in the business of marketing, consultancy and sales promotion services of petrochemicals in India and its neighbouring countries. Some of the products it promotes are polypropylene, ethylene urea and ammonia. In the year 2005, SABIC India has done business worth $625 million. SABIC has also established a research centre in Vadodara, Gujarat. After the Gulf War, Indian companies were extensively involved in the reconstruction of Kuwait.
Well, the shape of the Indo-Kuwaiti economic relation very good and very strong. There is a huge, big achievement by Indian company in Kuwait and at the same time here in India. In Kuwait, there is now a huge and very intensive opportunities, many different sectors in economy, in industry, in commercial and everything. I wish that the Indian company take more advantages on this field also. The Indian companies, they did a very good thing, especially in the housing and transportation, roads, and many projects. Now the Gulf region is not shaking hands, open their arm to the Indian friends.
Political relations continue to grow, and some of the recent high-level exchanges to boost bilateral relations include that of Indian President APJ Abdul Kalam's visit to the United Arab Emirates in 2003, the Sultan of Oman, His Majesty Sultan Qaboos bin Said, to Delhi in 1997, by the Prime Minister of Bahrain, Sheikh Khalifa bin Salman Al Khalifa, in 2004, the Emir of Qatar, His Highness Sheikh Hamad bin Khalifa Al Thani, in 2005, and the year 2006 saw visits by the custodian of the two holy mosques, King Abdullah bin Abdul Aziz Al Saud, the Saudi Arabian monarch, and a state visit by the Emir of Kuwait, His Highness Sheikh Sabah Al Ahmad Al Jaber Al Sabah. Regular interactions are established through seminars to deliberate on the expansion of economic activities between India and GCC countries. A high-level delegation of businessmen from Bahrain met a cross-section of their Indian counterparts in 2006 at a conference held by CII, and a number of agreements were signed which will help push our businesses together.
We even used to use the rupee in Bahrain until the mid-60s. I know many people from Bahrain who studied in India, and they are doing well, and some of them are in very senior positions in the government as well. They have been good ambassadors of education in India.
We have already a relationship with some company for corporate gifts, and we believe that will also lead to have more business relationship with India.
The Bhatia community has been living and trading from Bahrain for over 150 years, and the Kewalrams are amongst the oldest Indian traders settled in Bahrain.
We were initially into pearl business and textiles, which used to come that time from India. Indian products, in fact, have a great potential in Bahrain. We have just signed up with UTI Securities. They will be opening a brokerage desk in Bahrain.
ASSOCHAM has been deeply involved in promoting international businesses for Indian businessmen, especially for our members. We have several MOUs with the Gulf nations, including with UAE, with Oman, with Kuwait, with Saudi Arabia. And ASSOCHAM has established its first overseas office in Sharjah.
At a recent conference in Delhi, Mr. Midfar spoke about the long-time trade and trust between our business communities.
Business communities over a long period of interaction. It is the trust that matters. The UAE investor have started to look at India in various sectors.
Gulf also provides excellent opportunities for India to expand the trade and investments not just in the Gulf, but also to use Gulf as a transit point.
The Sharjah Free Zone provides an excellent free zone facilities wherein we are free with the custom duties and there are no hassles in the documentation work.
Our products are very specialized in terms of its application, and customers require pre-sale as well as post-sale service from us. Being here, it's very competitive as far as cost is concerned.
We established our company over here to manufacture specialty additives, paints as well as for petrochemical and polymer industries. Beneficial for both the parties to save time and cost. That's why we are based in Sharjah Airport Free Zone.
Say it in one word, rather than the first year of operation itself, we are started making profits, and with a limited manpower availability, we can manage the whole show here.
We are India-based Mahindra & Mahindra Group company, and I look after the consulting division which caters towards technology and business consulting services. Being in safe zone, I found beneficial because we are in the heart of GCC and we can cater towards the market much faster and quicker.
CII works closely with its MOU partners.
We are trying to attract the major companies here from India to come and set up in Dubai. And we will be conducting this roadshow in 5 major cities here in India.
What CII does, we have established contacts with the local chambers of commerce in all these countries. We go to the companies directly. We keep very close contact with the departments of the government or the ministries. We are promoting Indian economic reforms and the success which has been achieved. Now there is understanding that India is a safe destination for their investments, for their relationship, and their future would be safe if they look at India as they look to the West. The India GCC Industrial Conference, which was held in Mumbai, 6 ministerial delegations came to India. There was interaction at the business level, at the government level.
And in the year 2006, a second India GCC conference was held in Muscat.
If you take Dubai, they have this Jebel Ali Free Zone. Largest number of companies are of Indian origin. And when they just started, it was the Indian companies who went there first. Now the advantage was the Indian companies became a part and parcel of the international environment.
In last 5 years, we have grown almost 5 times in turnover, and we have made huge profits here. We get material from India. It's fully manufactured. We have about 5,000 square feet warehouse.
The future for cooperation with this region is very, very bright.
Dubai Intercity is basically, it's like the Silicon Oasis or the Silicon Valley of the Middle East. We have provided the right infrastructure and the right environment for the IT companies to expand their operation and to move to Dubai, an IT hub. Now we looked at other opportunities.
India has invested a lot of money on these IT professionals. They have given the training on IT in IITs, etc. They give around 15 to 16 years of education, and they are very good analytical power. And this investment is available to all the GCC countries here. Without the GCC investment on that, they are getting resources. For us, the benefit is that we have an extended market. For GCC countries, is the advantage actually that they get the people of the top brass of the people of IT resources here in their own country. Dubai Internet City has approximately around 11,000 professionals, IT professionals. Out of that actually is around more than 70% are Indians. We take the projects in Dubai and we do a lot of development as well as technical support from India.
Indian IT exports to GCC countries stood at $170 million in 2004 to 2005. NIIT is also playing a very active role in the Gulf countries in the education sector, training their people in the IT field.
Dubai does export 70% of what we import from outside. Dubai, with the booming of the real estate and construction sector there will be a new rules and regulation for ownership of properties there in Dubai.
The future in between both countries, India and Dubai, will definitely be very bright, and we are looking forward for this.
We have established a business council between India and UAE. We have 4,700 Indian companies. So this shows that the presence of India and UAE market is very strong, and we want also to continue building the partnership. The Abu Dhabi Chamber of Commerce always encouraged this initiative. One of the members of the board is an Indian national. We call the Indian businessmen and the UAE businessmen to continue working together to enhance this relationship to the best of the interests of both countries.
A large number of Indians living in the 6 GCC countries remit back home a substantial amount of foreign exchange every year.
We've tried a lot of labours, but I think the Indian labourers have proved to be the best.
And we have a large community of Indian labourers working in the construction. And they are serving the country, helping the country. We are determined as a government to sort out these problems and with all due respect to their rights.
Without the support of the Indian labor force, we would not be where we are today. So we are, as business people, we are very grateful for the contributions of the workforce from India.
However, the profile of the Indian community in the Gulf countries has changed remarkably. There are increased recruitments from Indian professionals such as engineers, IT specialists, architects, accountants, managers. Indian medical specialists and professionals abound in the Gulf hospitals, constituting the majority of doctors in each country. Indian-managed hospitals are also multiplying in the Gulf cities.
The hospital has been started since 30 years now. The first hospital to be recognized in the private sector actually. And we have about 80% of Indian doctors. Hospital alone we are handling about 2,000 patients a day. We have Dubai and we have another 2 more centers here.
The President of India, Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, inaugurated a pharmaceutical manufacturing unit in the United Arab Emirates, established by an Indian, Dr. Shetty. GCC countries today represent an import-dependent market for medical products worth $2 billion per year. India's export drugs and pharmaceuticals exports to this region stood at $82.6 million in 2004 to 2005. Medical tourism is an area where India and GCC have opportunities for cooperation. India offers excellent tourist spots which can be combined with excellent low-cost healthcare facilities. Over 5 million Indians travel for business, leisure and shopping to the Gulf countries per year. Air India has played a dominant role in connecting India with our Gulf neighbours for decades. Several airlines have contributed to the enhancement of economic activities between India and the Gulf countries by carrying business people, tourists and cargo. The arrival of a new airline last year from the United Arab Emirates is by itself proof of increased activity in the region and our growing economic and commercial relations. Our relations have acquired a multifaceted profile, covering almost every gamut of bilateral relation. Great progress has been made on the economic front, where India and Arab neighbours have generated volumes of trade touching billions of dollars over the years. To preserve the interest of their peoples and ensure their progress, the GCC countries and India hold a solid commitment to working together harmoniously, using the tools of partnership and cooperation.